Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Good evening, Anjali. Thank you so much for connecting with me. I am doing excellent. Thank you so much for asking. How are you doing today?
Okay, I'm doing well, and thanks for giving me your precious time.
You're most welcome. I'm glad that you reached out and I'm very excited to have this conversation with you.
Okay, me too, ma'am. Okay, yes, ma'am. So please tell me about your journey. Like everyone is asking to you, it might be. So I want to know about your journey, and I'm excited to know about your journey. So can you share?
Absolutely, sure. So, for me, Anjali, I did not have any specific or separate journey for English, like I have spoken about it quite a few times. I studied in an English medium school throughout my, journey in school, and I was always fascinated with the language. I liked the language always. I used to read a lot. I used to score very good marks in English. But when I went to college, right, that's when I realized that speaking English and knowing grammar and writing, they are two different things altogether. So I did my graduation from IIHM Kolkata. I have done graduation in international hospitality management. And because of my field of study, I had to interact with a lot of people from not only different parts of India, but from people all around the world. And that's when I realized that it is important to focus on spoken English as well. And once I realized that, it was again not a very difficult process because I made it a point to engross myself in the language. So I used to do different activities like writing, reading, listening, like watching movies, watching a lot of web series, and talking with my friends in English. So when you do all these things together, then it is a very easy journey. It is not very difficult as such, but putting in that effort is the difficult part of it. So you need to put in that effort to spend time on your progress, and that's when you see the results. So I completed my graduation, then I moved on, into my career life, and then I started working. I have worked for over 11 years in the corporate sector, and for the last 5 years, I have been into full-time training. So this is something that I absolutely love doing, and I love interacting with people and speaking to people from different parts of the world. And yes, this has been a very fulfilling journey. I have recently completed my TEFL certification, so that gave me a little more insight on how to approach teaching and coaching. And yes, it's been so far a great journey, and I'm still hopeful and positive that I am going to meet a lot of new people, a lot of new learners, and connect with them and continue this journey forward. And if I talk about my, hobbies, what I do when I get a little free time, I love traveling, I love cooking, and I spend a lot of time with my friends and family.
Okay. So, ma'am, I forgot just my first question was tell me about yourself because it's our first meeting, and yeah, some people are knowing about you, but most of the people might be they are not knowing about you. So, please tell me about yourself.
Yeah, so that's why I understood that you forgot or you did not distinguish between both the
Yes, I was
questions. That's
little
why
nervous.
that's okay. Don't be nervous. It's fine. So that's why I combined both the answers together. I told you about my English journey and I also told you about myself.
Okay, okay, that's really great, ma'am. So, ma'am, how much time you used to give in your initial days for speaking practice?
For speaking, initial days, I cannot really quantify the time, but it would definitely, like if I'm watching a movie, that would take about 1.5 hours. English movies are generally 1.5 hours long. So that time for movies, I would at least speak to my friends for 1 hour in English because we were staying in a hostel and we had that time, or in college, we would speak to each other in English, right? And then reading, I would read like 30 minutes, 40 minutes in a day whenever I get time. 10 pages at least I would read because I like reading fiction and I love reading novels. I finish novels very quickly. So that's why there was no specific time. If I'm very engrossed in a novel, I can finish it in a day. Or if I am, finding it to be okayish, then I'll just read for 10, 15 minutes, 10 pages or something like that, and I'll keep it aside like that. And writing, I would spend just like 10 minutes, 15 minutes in a day, maybe to write about how my day was or if anything interesting happened throughout that day. I would quickly jot that down. So nothing in specific as such, but I would make sure that even if I'm not being able to do everything to 100%, I will still do 10-20% of it each day, depending on how the day is. So the key is to be consistent and not quantify everything, right?
Okay. So how have you become bibliophile?
Hmm. Well, I won't say I am a bibliophile to be very honest, but I enjoy, mostly I used to enjoy reading a lot of novels. And now I am like, I don't get that much time nowadays to read. I have tried reading non-fiction, but that generally doesn't attract me a lot. But I love if I come across a good novel, the story and the plot that that I can relate to, I love reading that. So right now I cannot say that I'm avidly reading, but I read on and off.
Okay. So my next question is, ma'am, by following your timetable, can we become fluent within 6 months or 1 year by following
Well,
your timetable?
uh-huh. So when I say timetable, see, you cannot follow someone's timetable exactly. That is not possible because you cannot change your life according to somebody else. That's not possible. So the focus should be on creating your own timetable, creating spaces for each activity in your timetable how you do. So for example, a lot of people tell me like ma'am, I don't get time. When do I watch a movie? I don't have time at all. Especially housewives tell me that I don't have time at all. When do I watch a movie? So I tell them, do you cook? If you cook, when you are cooking, take your phone, put it on a shelf, play a movie, cook and listen to it, watch the movie. You're getting entertained, you're not bored while cooking, and you're also learning the language subconsciously. So it is about making those small tweaks. I had friends who would, who would play web series or movies even when they are, brushing their teeth in the morning. They would take their phone, put it on the shelf, and they would, take a bath or brush their teeth, and they would watch a movie. Sorry about that. So it is how much you want to do that. You have to first ask yourself what is the priority of it, and then you become confident, or then you realize that okay, this is something that I can do, this is something that I can manage. So once you tell yourself that okay, once you convince yourself that it is important and I want to do it, you will figure out time no matter what. So if you are putting in that effort, then you will not need a time limit of 6 months or 1 year. It depends on how much effort you are putting in. Depending on that, you can also get fluent in 3 months, right? So the focus, as I said, you should not quantify, but look at the quality and look at the consistency. That is what is important in this journey.
Yes, you are saying right. Because we should immerse in English. If we
Yes,
are saying I don't have time and I have only 2 hours or 3 hours, so it is not going to help us.
correct.
So passion should be with us, so that can we
Hmm,
can achieve anything.
absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
I do agree with you.
Hmm.
Okay, ma'am. So my last question is, what tips you want to give for getting fluency?
That's a very interesting question. So, to be fluent, see, fluency is a journey
Mhm.
and you cannot achieve it overnight. That is number one. So, you have to first set up your mindset in a way that you realize the fact that to be fluent, you need to give yourself time and you need to put in the effort. Number two, when you talk about fluency, it is nothing but how quickly you are able to convert your thoughts into English when you are speaking. Generally, what happens when people speak in English, when they are not proficient speakers, when they speak, they think the sentence in their mother tongue. It can be any language, Hindi, English, I'm sorry, Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, whichever is your mother tongue language, right? So you think about it in your mother tongue, then your brain is quickly translating each word. when you are speaking. That
Yes.
is what hinders your fluency, right? So for you to be fluent, the first thing you need to do is change your thoughts to English. Now,
Mm.
how do you change your thoughts to English? You start thinking in English, you start speaking to yourself in English. That is very important. Now, how do you speak to yourself in English? That's a very important question, right? So, simple things like if you are sitting idle, you have hundreds of thoughts in your mind. आज
Mm.
रात को खाने में राजमा बनाना है, नेक्स्ट वीकेंड को इस दोस्त को मिलने जाना है, या फिर वो काम मेरा पेंडिंग रह गया. We have these thoughts in our mind, right? Instead of thinking about it in Hindi, change it to English. Simple. Talk to yourself in English. I
But
want
how?
Rajma tonight.
Mhm.
In your
I
mind.
want, yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I want to ask here how to start thinking because we have become habitual of this language, our mother tongue language. So how
Yes.
to start it?
You don't need to shut it. You just need to tweak it. So, if you are having a thought right now in your mind in Hindi, when you tell yourself that I have to consciously think in English, you have the thought in Hindi once, that is okay. Instantly ask yourself, how do I say this in English? What will be the sentence in English? Being inquisitive, being curious is important. Ask yourself. Now, initially, for 5 days, you will have that thing that, okay, you are thinking the same thought twice, once in Hindi and once in English. But after 5 days, you will get into that zone where you are thinking in English. Even if you are constructing wrong sentences, it's fine. You need to get into that zone where you are thinking in English, right? And then that process becomes easier. So that is your first step to fluency. Next, start listening to a lot of English. And all of this, remember, not like in phase one, I'm doing thinking, in phase two, I will do listening. It all has to be simultaneous, right? So, in a day, whenever you can, think in English. In a day, whenever you find time or make time, watch a movie. If you don't like movies, watch a podcast. If you don't like podcast, watch a TED talk. If you don't like TED talks, listen to an English story. Anything. There are ample amount of content that is available today on the internet that you can leverage and you can work on yourself, right? So listen. And then the third step is speak. Be bold and speak. If you don't have anyone in your surrounding, record yourself. Imagine you are having a conversation with someone, record yourself on camera, then watch that video. What happens is we are the best critics of ourselves, right?
Right.
Once we see that, okay, I made a mistake there, there is a tense error that I did. Next time, your brain will automatically tell you that, hey, last time you made that mistake, this time don't repeat it. So that's how you slowly and steadily work on your language skills and fluency.
Mm. Thanks, ma'am. You have cleared me, and you are just an amicable person because the way of teaching and all things you have cleared me, and I will implement it from today.
Thank you so much, Anjali. I'm glad that you feel that way. I feel you're too generous in your compliments, but definitely I feel that you asked very important questions. You asked questions which are very relevant for every learner. And through your channel, I'm sure a lot of learners are going to get motivated, get encouraged to march forward on their journey, and they will also benefit.
So, any feedback, ma'am? Do you want to give me?
So for you, Anjali, I don't have any feedback as of now. I just noticed a few grammatical errors of preposition, at certain places, because today there was not enough point where you were speaking. So I would not give you any other feedback other than the fact that, I heard a little bit of grammatical error for preposition. I definitely want to tell you one thing, that you are somebody who has that personality where somebody speaks with a smile on their face. So you are someone who is a warm and approachable person, and definitely that will add to the way that you communicate with people and you connect with people. So great job on that.
Okay, thanks, ma'am. It was a. Do you have any question, ma'am?
I don't have any question as of now. I think we will definitely connect again, and I would definitely want to speak to you once again and get to know a little more about you. And then I will get to know a lot of things about you and your journey.
Okay, ma'am. It
Okay.
was a wonderful conversation, and you are really a great teacher. Yeah,
Thank
I have
you.
never talked to this type of teacher, and you have cleared me, and whatever you have spoken, so you have spoken all about your reality. For following after following this, we can become fluent. Definitely.
Thank you so much, Anjali. I'm very, very grateful that you feel that way and you are too generous. Thank you so much for all your kind words.
Okay, thanks, ma'am.
You're
Thanks for giving
welcome.
your precious time again.
Thank you, and thank you for having me over on your channel. I feel really happy.
Okay, thanks, ma'am. Have a great day.
All right, you too have a great evening, Anjali. Take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.